A Winter's Tale by William Shakespeare. I'm going to be going over the first two acts in the book. And in between Act 1 and 2, I'm going to be putting a clip of some people I had act out a certain scene from Act 1, which was mostly Act 2. And it's interesting, and the way that one went, that's probably the only clip I will be using out of any of my friends. But it was nice of them enough to do it, so I'm going to put it in anyways. Not to like pick one of them or anything, just put it in there. So this book is a little controversial. I did some research on it because Shakespeare itself is confusing if you don't know any backstory to it. So basically throughout Act 1, we are introduced to some of the main characters that we will see throughout the chapters and the scenes. Well, acts and scenes, not chapters. And I'm gonna say these names wrong, but that's fine. Leonis, King of Sicily, Hermione, Queen of Sicily, and then we are also introduced to Polynexus, King of Bohemia. Basically, Leonis is good friends with Polynexus. They have been friends forever. And while you're reading the book, it kind of interprets it as if Hermione and Polynexus are gonna have an affair. But if you read stuff online and you do a little bit more looking into it, you actually learn that they're actually just really good friends, and she's just basically offering him a place to stay. And Leonis just assumes this. He just thinks he's gonna walk into his wife and best friend having an affair. But no, that's not really what's happening there. So as you go into Act 2, which is where stuff gets a little bit more serious, he accuses them of this strong accusation without anything evidential at all. He only uses his mind and his thoughts and things that he thought he's seen. And it basically gets to the point where he keeps his good friend Polynexus there, and Camillio, which is also a friend to both of them. And Hermione doesn't help with this. She tries to help them escape, which makes it look even worse, because if they weren't having this affair, then she probably wouldn't be trying to help them get out. Also, during all of this, Hermione is pregnant. She is very pregnant. She's like almost full term. And whenever this happens, Polynexus takes her under arrest. He wants them killed, because back then in Shakespearean days, adultery was a serious crime, and if you were caught doing this, you could be executed or you'd be exiled, basically, because it was very much frowned upon. So these accusations were very serious and could lead to something more serious, as I've mentioned. And that's pretty much it for the first two acts. There's a lot compact into those two acts, which are pretty big in itself. I can understand where some people might get some of the reading wrong, because Shakespeare is a little confusing. So far, I would rate it a 7 out of 10. It does take a little bit to get into, and you do have to read the first part over and over again, because if you don't, you're going to be lost and stuck, and then the second scene is just not going to make sense. But that's fine. That's kind of how most of it is. I have finished this book already, but I'm refreshing my mind on everything. So if I do continue with people acting it out, then I can have them do it accurately. And I also may add that safety precautions were taken during this filming process. If it's with people in a small building, I was in a closet earlier with 3 other people, we all had masks. Social distancing we try to do, but at times it is hard. I'm just putting that out there, and these are also people I've been with since day 1 of school. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I do hope you enjoy Act 1.
I have to spoke to the purpose twice. The one forever earned a royal husband, though others for some while a friend.
To mingle friendship far as mingling bloods. I have trimmer Cordelis on me. My heart dances, but not for joy, not joy. This entertainment may a free face put on. Derive a liberty from hardiness, from from bounty, fertility pause, and well become the agent. To may I grant, but to be paddling palms and pinching fingers, as now are they, and making practice smiles as in looking glass, and then to sigh, as 'twere the mort oath, dear oh. That is entertainment. My bosom likes not, nor my brows. Mamilius, art thou my boy?
As my good lord.
Why? That's my bawcock. What has smudged thy nose? They say it is a copy out of mine. Come, Captain, we must be neat. Not neat, but cleanly, Captain. And yet the steer, the heifer, and the calf are all called neat. Still virgilating. Upon his palm, how now, you wanton calf? Art thou my calf?
Yes, if you will, my lord.
Thou wast once a rough patch of the suits that I have. To be full like me, yet they say we are almost as eggs. Women say so, that will say anything. God, this is awful. But they were false as were dig blacks as wind, as water, false as dice are to be wished by one that fixes. No born twixt his and mine, yet it were true to say this boy were like mine. Come, Sir Page, look on me with your welcome eye. Sweet villain, most dearest my collop, can thy dam mate it be? Affection, thy intention stabs the center. Thou dost make possible things not so held. Good dreams. How can this be? With what's unreal, thou cook of art. And fellowest nothing, then 'tis very credent. Thou mayest co-join with something, and thou dost, and that beyond commission, and I find it. And that to the infection of my brains, and that hardening of my brows.
What means Sagala? Oh, he's something seems unsettled.
How, my lord?
What cheer? How is't with you, best brother?
As if you hold a brow of much distraction, are you moved, my lord?
No, in good earnest. How sometimes nature will betray its folly, its tenderness, and make itself pastime. To harder bosoms. God, I hate this. Looking on the lines of my boy's face, methoughts I did recoil. 23 years and saw myself unbreeched, and my green velvet coat, my dagger muzzle. And it should bite its master, and so prove, as ornaments oft do, too dangerous. How like methought I then must do this colonel, this squash, this gentleman, mine honest friend. Will you take eggs for money?
No, my lord. I'll fight.
It gets worse.
Really?
Yeah.
You will? Why, happy man, be Doyle. My brother, are you so fond of your young prince as we two seem to be of ours?
At home, sir. He's all my exercise, my matters. Now my sword friend, and then my enemy, my preside, my soldier, statesman. All he makes a July's day short and as December. Thoughts that would thick my blood.
What number are you at?
215.
Okay. You go.
So stands this choir. Officed with me, we two will walk, my lord, and leave you to your braver steps. Hermione, how thou lovest us and show in our brother's welcome. Let what is dear in Sicily be cheap, next to thyself in my young rover. He is a parent to my heart.
We are yours. Stop the garden shall attend you there.
To your own bents depose you. You'll be found, be you beneath the sky. I am angling now, though you perceive me not how I give line. Go to. And how she holds up the neb to bill him, and arms her with the boldness of a wife to a half-aged husband. We're done.
Yeah,
It's over. I quit.
Wait, okay, so how did you guys interpret that? What did you take that as?
She's cheating on her husband or something.
Okay,
I don't
actually,
know.
no, she's actually not cheating on her husband. She's just.
I don't care. I couldn't barely make sense of anything.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
people interpret it differently because it's Shakespeare.
So there are a bunch of acts in this book, but I only wanted to talk about the first 3 since these ones are the ones that really make up the whole entire theme of the story, which is don't let jealousy get ahead of you and don't let your imagination get ahead of yourself because it can lead to very bad consequences in the end. For example, in scene 3, act 3, the last one I'm going to talk about, there is a trial and Leonis decides he wants to be the judge of this. So he listens to his wife. She had to defend herself. And although she had a bunch of stuff to say that was very much right and able to be proved, he didn't agree with it, and she was found guilty of adultery, and she was sentenced to death. Now, because of this, there was like a curse put onto the family and the king's curse was that he would never have a heir. And after that, it is announced that his only son died from his illness. And then his wife basically dropped dead in court because she was so overwhelmed with the information of what had happened. So that's pretty much the first 3 scenes, and I'm not going to go over the rest because I don't want to spoil the rest of the book for someone who does plan on reading this. Overall, based off of the whole entire book, I wouldn't really recommend reading it. I'm not saying it's the worst book, but I'm not saying it's the best book either. It does take you on a roller coaster, and I will go a little bit into Act 4, but basically the baby that was left out in the woods was found, and the husband, Leonis, he honors his wife and his deceased son and has a proper burial for him, but he takes the baby and places it somewhere, and a few other people come along and take the baby into their own hands and everything. And that's basically pretty much, that's not it. If you want to know the rest of this book, you're just going to have to read it yourself. But it's interesting. I will tell you that. It is interesting. It is, I think, one of Shakespeare's more popular books. It's not heard about a lot, as much as Romeo and Juliet. If you liked Romeo and Juliet, then you would probably like this book. A lot of people do die during this. That's not funny, but it's just interesting because all of Shakespeare's books include death. Yeah. So I tried reading it. Did I understand it all completely? No, I did not, but that's okay. And after I did all of my research and then I reread it a few times, I got it. So yeah, I hope you do read it. But do be warned, it is a mess. So yeah.